All right, here we go. So what I want to do is I haven't done this yet because and Dark Fool said that. All right, look, we're gonna go ahead and start this shit up. And look, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a Tom LeRoy fan. Okay, I'm not a fanboy, but I'm a fan. I think Tom is cool. And apparently, go to the comments. Now, see, watch. I smashed two motherfuckers. I didn't fucking bother responding to Darkful because, just so you know, Thomas made and set this video long before I did mine. See, that's the difference between you guys and me, is because I just do shit off the cuff. I'm natural. You feel me? I don't have to plan my shit out. I don't have to do no research. My research is in my head, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? My knowledge is where I'm at. You feel me? So we're going to watch this, and I'm going to give you my commentary on it. I haven't seen it before. I swear to Lord Jesus Christ, I haven't seen it before. I don't know. Dark Fool said that, he made that before, and, he made it 8 months ago, and he just uploaded it today. Okay, fine, whatever, dude. Have fun with that. Let's go. Let's have fun. Let me make sure we get the fucking volume all the way up. I love his intro, by the way. His intro is super awesome. Matter of fact, Tom LeRoy is super awesome. But I don't know. Something tells me he's about to get smacked down. Because you made a 22.5-minute video defending stupidity. As far as I can tell. I haven't seen it yet, though. We're about to watch it together, motherfucker. Let's have some fun, dude. Do you know what idols are meant for? Do you know what idols are meant for? They're meant to be crushed.
Greetings, friends. As stated in my last video,
that's the path, bro. Idols are meant to be crushed. Now, I showed you yesterday when I'm going to get back to you. Dude, be patient. I will get to you. I already chopped. Hold on. I chopped a couple people's heads off in the fucking responses. Did he say I don't know how the zodiac works? Is he talking to me? He ain't talking to me. Now, you weird, man. If you don't think I know how the zodiac works. Did you know there was a 13th sign? No, I bet you didn't, because you... Bro. Anywho.
The times are changing. We're experiencing a great ionic shift, one brought about with the death of God, thus opening the way for something else.
Wait. The death... Oh, you mean Nietzsche's death of God. That wasn't a god, that was a fucking mask. That was a facade. You can't kill the origination of the universe. Otherwise, the universe would be, some of these weirdos try to,
Because just as nature abhors a vacuum, so too does the collective unconscious. And that void is...
the natural state of the universe is a vacuum. But we don't need to get into that. That's too deep. Dude, I'm already
being
plugging.
Filled quickly. So, what I want to do in this video is go a bit more in depth concerning my Leviathan hypothesis and why I feel it's the appropriate mask for the adversarial current, if you will. A mask for the new aeon.
Nope. You're wrong, bro.
Now, I think most of us on the path already know who or what Leviathan is, the sea serpent known as one of the 7 princes of hell, and one of the 4 princes of the demons, according to the Book of Abramelin.
All right, look, bro, abandon your categories, all you enter here. This is silly. You're smarter than this, Tom. I know you are.
So as a demonic
I know you're
entity,
smarter than this,
Leviathan
man.
is well known within the dark occultic community. But there are deeper aspects to this beast of the primordial chaos. Much deeper.
Okay. Tell me about it. Let's go. Tell me about it. Dramatic pause. I love it. Tom LeRoy's cool as shit. Man, I'm getting ready to think, do I want to pack a bowl now, or do I want to just fucking just watch this shit? That's a...
To begin with,
Talk about dramatic pauses, man. That shit was like fucking 35 minutes, nigga.
getting to the rudimentary aspects of it all, this innate fear of serpents and snakes is deeply embedded in the human psyche.
Man, when I was a kid, I used to pick up them snakes, them garter snakes and shit like that. I would play with them. The way that they felt on your arms and shit like that, when they would roll up them and shit like that, it was like a cool, smooth fucking... I love snakes, man. What are you talking about? Innate fear of snakes. You mean fear of getting fucking poisoned by... Never mind. Go ahead, bro.
It goes back millions of years to our most ancient primate ancestors who, while living in the canopies of equatorial rainforests, would have to be on a constant lookout for those predators that also dwelt in the trees, namely snakes. This fear was thus imprinted within the collective unconscious, according to Jungian theory. It's ingrained in the psyche at such a deep primal level, many have to unlearn this fear to even go near a snake. Thus, the serpent came to symbolize that which dwells within the chaotic realm of fear, or the primordial chaos. So it's obvious to see why the serpent is such a ready villain to be utilized in a myriad of myths and legends. Now, the struggle between Yahweh and Leviathan is, observing it from a symbolic or mythological perspective, is comparable to the struggle between the Sky Father and the chthonic deities. You can see that struggle in...
I actually don't think this is a real thing. I think this is a lot of what we might call retroactive mythology. So I'm just going to call bullshit, but let's go ahead. Let's see what you have to say.
Various mythologies, Slavic, for example, also in Tengranism,
we don't even have Slavic mythology in its purest form because it was Christianized. And you know this. You know that the Odin myth was Christianized. If you don't know that, then I'm giving you too much credit. Snorrison, right? That was his name, right? Snorri, whatever the fuck his name was. The guy that wrote the Eddas. He wasn't writing them, he was transcribing them. And what he did was he put a Christian fucking bent on it. That's why certain things had certain fucking mentalities. Fuck, you know this. Come on, Tom. You're smart enough to know this, man. This is why I'm calling bullshit on I'm calling bullshit on everything. Because, come on, man. This is not hard, dude. This is not hard. This is not like calculus. This is just, basic math, dude. This is 2 + 2 shit.
Christian interpretation of God versus Satan.
Yes.
But the difference here, though, is Leviathan is not on or under the ground, but in the primordial chaos. And this brings us to what is referred to as Chaos Kampf. Now, what's Chaos Kampf, you may ask? It's the struggle between order and chaos, symbolized in the battles between a storm god and some sort of great serpent. This is a common trope in comparative mythology, and it appears that the origins of the Chaos Kampf myth lie within the traditions of the Proto-Indo-Europeans. For those who...
Dude, you're exactly right here. You're exactly right. It is the Proto-Indo-Europeans. You were 1,000% right. So you got something right. Thank you.
Don't know, the Proto-Indo-Europeans were those who domesticated the horse and invented the chariot.
1,000%. He's right.
They were believed to be a warlike people who spread their influence across the Eurasian landmass starting roughly 6,000 years ago. We believe this because of the commonality in languages and myths from India to Ireland. And one of those is the Chaos Kampf myth.
What I would really love to hear your thoughts on, Tom, is the god Tyr. Or, you know, what's he called? He had another name too. It started with a T and it had a Y in it. The second person of the Indo-European Trinity.
Logical tradition.
I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. The warlike aspect.
Indo-European examples of this.
Odin was death. Well, I mean, you might vector it differently, but I think Odin was death and like psychopompy. You know what I'm saying? Like the ability to communicate with the dead. And then you had Tyr or Dios. I mean, I think that those two gods are, well, I mean, it depends on how you want to vector it. But I think those, you know, they're war gods. And then who is the third? Who is the third? Is it Donar? Meaning Thor?
This mythic tradition include Marduk versus Tiamat, Zeus versus Typhon,
Yes.
Indra versus Varitra, and Thor versus Jormungandr, to name but a few.
I always love that because if you really go into the Norse mythology, Jormungandr, he's talking about the world serpent, the serpent that circles the world. He's right. This is why I love Tom, because Tom knows his shit. I don't play with people that don't know their shit. I just leave them alone. But this dude knows his shit, so I'm gonna fucking play with him a little bit.
So,
Let's go.
sea serpents represent that which is primordial or pre-creation, pre that which can be taught. In mythological terms, being that
wouldn't say it
upon
like
which
that,
the
but
cosmos
whatever.
is established. This is interesting because ancient peoples viewed the seas as chaotic and dangerous and were at the world's
Because you're gonna drown in them motherfuckers, that's why.
edge or the periphery of the cosmos.
Come on, man, we know
What
what's
was
up.
below the waves, what was in the depths,
Yes.
symbolized innate primordial knowledge.
You ain't wrong.
Thus, we have the polar opposite of the ordered center of
Ain't wrong.
existence, the creations of the Sky Father. This is the equivalent of Nietzsche's Dionysian Apollonian dialectic. Hence, the depths symbolize the source of primal.
All right, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop for a second here, and I'm gonna fucking. There was a point where I was gonna say something in the video response that I made already to Dark Fool, in which I basically just chopped his head off. But there was a trade in the myth, and I was gonna mention this, but I was like, oh, it actually makes his point stronger, even though his point was weak as shit. But I'm like, did you know that there was a trade between the two of them? The liar for the... Yeah, get back to it. You'll figure it out. There was a trade between those two gods. Matter of fact, there was a trade in the Olympian pantheon. Pantheon means all the gods. Dude, see, here's what I'm saying, and this is what I told this motherfucker right here. Just look at it. Look at it. Look at it. This is what I said. You don't want this smoke. You seem exactly like the type dude with she, they pronouns. Tug on the cape one more time. Because I don't fuck with people. I'm reacting to your video in real time, and I've never seen it before. I swear to the Lord Jesus Christ, I haven't seen it before. But you're doing good so far, bro. You're doing real good, man. You getting a couple things, like, I don't want to say wrong, but, you know, like slightly miscoagulated or whatever the fuck. But yeah, you're doing good.
Gnosis, that which cannot be learned but instead revealed. To put it simply, this is knowledge from deep in your psyche. And because that which arises...
Take Jung out of your fucking mouth. No, I'm just kidding. For whatever reason, Tom LeRoy loves Jungian analysis. I think it's... What am I looking for? 20th century? Yeah, I think it's kind of, you know, it's kind of post-dated now. But whatever.
From the abyss is portrayed as monstrous serpents. This suggests their nature is antithetical to the more benevolent anthropomorphic deities. You see, chaos and order.
All deities
this
tend to be
theme is evident in Christian mythology, where Leviathan is synonymous with the hellmouth, which leads into the abyss.
Even God himself.
Now, to further this hypothesis, according to Jung, serpents also represent how consciousness intertwines with unconsciousness. And what we're doing on this path, on the left-hand path, is, whether you realize it or not, entwining our conscious with the subconscious. But we're doing it on our own terms, without the guidance of...
It was the, and correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm sure somebody will, but the way I pronounce it is Caduceus. That's the double twine serpent rod. That was traded for the lyre. And that was the trade between Hermes and Apollo. Am I correct? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong on the fucking comic books, but I think that was the trade that was made. Dionysus, actually, the interesting thing about him is that he was traded out of the... So there was the pantheon, and it had to be 12. So he had to be traded out for... Who was he traded out for? If anyone can answer me who he was traded out for, I think it was Hephaestus, actually. If I'm not mistaken in the myths, I think he was traded out for Hephaestus. That was the evolution of the myth. You know. Issue number 12.
The Sky Father. See where I'm going with this? Even the Celtic Druids believed serpents had primordial knowledge.
Were there other Druids?
They believe this knowledge was obtained during the winter hibernation months, when the snakes visited the subterranean realms to connect with the gods of the underworld, not to return again until spring.
See, this right here is why I love Tom LeRoy, is because he gets into shit that I don't even know about, because I don't do that Celtic shit, and it's like I learn shit. So educate me, bro.
Spring. This is a symbolic
This ain't no hate,
representation
bro.
of what
This is
Jung
love.
was talking about, going down into the subconscious and returning with answers, which wouldn't be unlike a shaman who delves into the...
Exactly. A shaman is not a necromancer, but it's different. It's the point where you can actually cross into other worlds. And Tom knows this, because Tom is really fucking smart on these type of fucking, like, I love your videos, Tom. Hey, bro, I'm talking to you right now. I love these videos where you talk about these fake ass shamans. And I'm just like, 1000% you're right, dude. If you're not from the Tunga region in fucking Eastern Europe and whatnot, or is it Eastern or Western? It's Eastern, I think. You know, you're right up in the Slavic territories and whatnot, in the mountains and shit. You don't know what shamanism is. You're weird, man, to be claiming that bullshit. And you're right. And that's why when I watch your videos on that, they get immediate, like, triple thumbs up, except I don't have multiple accounts, so I can only give one. And then I do one, and then I do one and one, and guess what it comes out to? It comes out to one. Because when I do one up, it goes one up. Then I do one again, and it goes down. And then I do one up again, and it goes up. No, but seriously, you're totally on point when it comes to shamanism. Man, these motherfuckers don't even understand what that means.
Underworld to commune with the spirits in order to bring back knowledge.
Yes.
And if you know anything about the Abrahamic traditions, the serpent also represents the evil adversary because it's a source of wisdom and temptation. Personal wisdom, not that which can be bestowed upon one from on high, from the Sky Father. Something deeper than that which can be learned.
I think I agree with it, but it's defensible. Shit, we're only not even halfway through this motherfucking shit. Come on now. This is the Beverly Hills Cop video. Shake down, break down, take down. I like these motherfucking replies, man.
For most of human history, we were illiterate. Some of you might be thinking that shit hasn't changed much, but you know what I'm trying to say. Myths and legends told around the great communal fires were how we learned of the gods, thus teaching us about the outer natural world and also the inner world of ourselves.
I love
they were told in poetic rhyme and rhythm to make it easier to remember, and many of these tales are still told to this day.
Yes.
They became a part of us. They are a part of us, these epic tales of gods and monsters. They're reflections of what lies in the deeper reaches of the subconscious, that which is often difficult to bring forth into the conscious, into the ego mind. And symbols were all around the natural world to help trigger those tales, to help keep one in tune with the gods. These reminders could be subtle as a leaf in a stream or as massive as the sky at night. And this brings us to the constellations and to what's known as the signs of the zodiac. But first, I need to make a detour here and flat out state that astrology as you know it, the 12 signs of the zodiac, is nonsense. I know some of my friends out there really believe in the common horoscope, but sorry, it's bullshit. Don't try to argue with me. Don't waste your time. Because you who do believe, most of you don't even...
Well, there's a 13th sign. It's Ochapichus, right? The snake. I think that there's that right there. Oh, shit. Don't fuck with me. But yeah, no, you're right. Most of this video I'm agreeing with, but then again, it's a Tom LeRoy video. What am I going to do? Disagree? Well, I'll tell you when I disagree.
Know how it's supposed to work. You believe because most people are afraid of the unknown, and you want quick answers for that which is scary, and in many cases, unknowable. Now, supposedly, that point where the sun rises in the morning, and what constellation it rises over at the time of your birth is your sign, is your star sign, or whatever.
It's called your sun sign.
But there's a problem. There's a problem for those of you who do believe. There aren't really 12 signs, but 13.
Did I call it?
Way back at the time when the zodiac was codified, a couple of thousand years ago.
I called it.
Since then, the Earth has shifted on its axis. So those, like myself, who are, quote, Libras, are really born under the sign of Virgo. And the signs don't change every month like clockwork. The universe doesn't work like that.
Exactly.
For example, Virgo lasts for 45 days. And Scorpio lasts for only 7. And between Scorpio and Sagittarius is Ophiuchus.
There you go.
13 signs.
I think he pronounced it right. I pronounced it wrong. But go back and look, and what I said, I called it. I knew what was going on here. And yeah, I'm a Scorpio, motherfucker. Was there any doubt about what my fucking sign is? It's a Scorpio. But like you're right too. Scorpio is a sign that says, fuck the signs. Ain't catching me off some fucking corner.
That's the real
That's why I love Tom LeRoy, man. I'm getting educated.
To screw with people.
Halfway.
When someone would ask me what my sign was, I'd say I don't believe in it because I'm a Libra, and Libras tend to be skeptical. You don't know how many people would look at me with
my wife and my
blank
mother,
eyes and nod.
My mother's
and say,
a Virgo.
Yeah,
my wife is a Cancer. My daughter's a Cancer. My son is a Leo.
But
I'm a Scorpio.
And this is important.
Everybody
but
else,
it's not complete
my dad was
bullshit,
a Gemini.
though.
Everyone else can suck.
I'm not skeptical just for the sake of being skeptical.
You might as well be, though.
What I'm getting at here is the way in which you think it should work is not how it really works.
Yes.
Remember, most people were illiterate in the far-off past. So when an individual would see a certain constellation...
I would actually push back on that. I don't think most people were illiterate. Yeah, sort of, but they were very verbal. And that kind of... I'm not saying they were Kent. I'm saying they were verbal. Not necessarily verbal Kent, but... I mean, it's not the usual suspects, but it's kind of like similar to that, whereas... I mean, we can't understand a lot of the shit that they did. And I'm not one of these ancient alien faggots that's like, oh shit, the aliens built everything. Nah, we did it. Not me, not you. Our ancestors did it. They did shit we could not imagine. Were they literate? They were literate in some way.
We would bring back that myth or tale that would correspond with that image. Get what I'm saying?
From the other side, yes.
And this,
I do.
Over the millennia, has become ingrained in our psyches, part of our genetic memory. That's the real magic of astrology. So, what's this all have to do with the Leviathan hypothesis? It's about the aeons and the ions. For those who don't already know, in Aleister Crowley's Thelema, it's thought that history can be broken down in what are called aeons, these great spans of time.
Okay, so what he's going to do is he's going to try to at least I think this was going to happen. Aeon with an E, that would mean a span of time. Whereas ion with an I would mean a power or a principality or like a... Well, I'll let him explain.
And these aeons correspond to a certain Egyptian god, each one of them. In prehistoric times, there was Isis. Then came the aeon of Osiris. Then Horus. You get what I'm saying? While Crowley had his aeons, though, Carl Jung had his ions. And his ions corresponded with the astrological symbols. And these ions lasted for roughly 2.
One of the interesting things is, and I think it was Jafer that brought this up, is that technically speaking, if you go by the aeons of the way Crowley had managed his stuff, that the next aeon would be Maat. M-A-A-T. I don't know if you've made a video on that, but... You know, food for thought.
2,000 years each. I went over this in a recent video, and I'll make sure I put a link. But back in the Greco-Roman days, that took place in the ion of Aries.
Yes.
Then 2,000 years ago, roughly 2,000 years ago, came the ion of Pisces, exactly. Symbolized by the two fish. The first 1,000 years governed by the Christ current, the second 1,000 years, the Antichrist. Get it?
I actually disagree with that, but I agree with your assignment of the way the precession of the equinoxes work, and I've already made a video on this, but I don't necessarily agree with you that it's a twofold current in the way that you think it is, but that's just me. I think it's one fish swimming, and it looks like two because, well, never mind.
The first 1,000 years, the Christ current was on the incline, and the second, a decline, thus leaving us today with the new ion, the ion of Aquarius. And now, with the dying of the Christ current, we've entered this age of nihilism.
The death of Christ was always the vector of the current. So you can't say that the Christ current died. It's death incarnate. Never mind. I mean, I know I'm splitting hairs to a certain point, but I want you to start seeing things from like a deeper level perspective.
You can see it all around. To quote Elon Musk,
you're a smart dude.
Things are getting weird, and they're getting weird fast. Now,
well, maybe. Yeah,
why this collapse of the Christ current, you may ask?
It's not that.
It gave people meaning for 2 millennia. What happened? What happened is it failed because it's a lie.
Yeah. Oh, Lord Jesus Christ. I don't necessarily think... Okay, the word lie belies your entire point. You see what I did there? It's not a lie. It's just a misappropriation. It's a misadjudication. It's a misunderstanding of what's really going on. Because we've never really understood what's going on. We've worked through all of these fucking mentalities. When you go back and you think about, like, what's the most ancient mentality? Think about it for a second. What is the most ancient mentality? Isn't it some kind of animism? Everything is divine, right? Something like that. Wouldn't you say that? If you really wanted to be honest about history and, like, you know, where we came from and our ancient ancestors and all that shit. Now, how far have we gotten? Not very far. Not very far, my bro. Am I? Okay, here we go. We doing something here? Yeah, that's what takes so long.
The popularity of the myth of Christ is founded on the idea of the ideal man or person. Christ is what you want to aspire to be. That's the basic theme.
I totally disagree.
Whether the Christians want to admit it or not. It's that simple.
I totally disagree.
But there's a big problem.
I know, right?
There's a problem with this notion, and that is one can't be whole without incorporating the shadow. Carl Jung understood this. He believed that even though the figure of the Christ is a powerful symbol, this symbol, though, is no longer appropriate for this current stage of humankind. This is because for Jung, the figure of Christ is not a symbol of totality.
I think I heard something about Jung, that he was like a pedophile or something. I don't know. Was he? Look, who the fuck knows, okay? All these people are weird to me. They're all weird to me. I can take knowledge from each and every one of them. Freud, oh, wait. Girls secretly want a penis. Penis envy versus castration anxiety. Lord Jesus Christ. And this passes for psychology. Carl Jung had some bad dreams, okay?
Because it lacks evil in
you know what I'm saying? I'm being honest with you, bro.
And how can one truly identify with perfection?
You can't.
No one can possibly really identify with the Christ. Because in this perfect...
The Christ is not perfection. The Christ was not perfection. Do you really believe it? See, this is what I'm saying. Sometimes you give me wisdom and you give me knowledge, and other times you give me stupidity, and I just don't understand. Like, come on, man.
State, it lacks half of what we as humans are. And what that is the shadow. And Christians have ignored the shadow for 2,000 years. This is what...
Oh, no, I think they've... What did Anton LaVey said? The devil's been the best friend the church has had for all these years. It's kept them in business. They don't ignore the shadow, or unless you think the shadow is something different. See, I don't even know, man. You seem to be like playing off all sides of the table. It's just like you're trying to carom balls, and it's just like you're not doing a good job. You're not hitting that 4 into the 6. You're not, you know what I'm saying? Or hit the 4 into the 9, and then you win the game. I mean, I don't fucking know, dude. You seem kind of weird to me a little bit. Like, you have a lot of fucking knowledge and wisdom and shit, and then you also have a lot of this shit.
Satan is.
This
He
shit.
is the shadow separate from the self, the most well-known mask of the adversarial archetype
Probably be
in the
inverse,
Western
I guess. I
world.
don't know.
And you can't be whole.
The
You can't
unconscious,
reach
subconscious,
individuation
conscious.
without the shadow, without Satan. To quote Jung, no tree, it is said, can grow to heaven unless its roots reach down to hell.
Was that Yggdrasil? What are we doing?
Also, all religions were originally based upon the direct personal experiences of the individuals. But over the generations, they become a matter of faith.
I completely disagree with what you just said. Religion, by its nature, is a communal experience, not an individual experience. That would be spirituality.
Evolving into mindless rituals to be blindly repeated. Do what the flock does. Go where the flock goes. Christianity has had a nice long run, but
this dude is right, but at the same time, that was the origination of the concept. It was never meant to be. Look, human beings are a communal species. We're like wolves. We're like lions. We're not like tigers. So there is an aspect to our behavior that is going to be huddled around a fire. What do you want to call it? Vesta, Hestia, Agni, if you want to go to the Indian god of the fire. This was the hearth fire. This was the central place that we got warm together because we had to fend off and then we had to tame. And look, if you want to really fucking think about shit, try to think about it a little bit more deeper. No, it was never about individuals. It was always about the cult. Come on, man. You're smarter than this, Tom. I know you are.
Coming to an end. Some of you may argue that it's still the biggest religion on the planet, and you're right, but it's not what it once was. In the past, it permeated all aspects of daily life, of existence. Now it's just background noise.
Exactly. I agree with you.
The truth is, it's on life support. And we're going to do the merciful thing and pull the plug.
You had the first two right
by ushering in the Aeon of Leviathan.
Now, come on, man. Dude,
no more lies.
Dude, cut it out. Cut it out with this Leviathan shit. I've already fucking run this under heel. Do I need to run it under heel anymore?
Lies and half-truths. The adversarial current is flowing. A current originating from the depths of the primordial chaos. Because if we're going to do this, we might as well go down as deep and dirty as we can get. We have to allow ourselves to be devoured by the hellmouth.
Leviathan was a crocodile that Yahweh put an axe through his head. That's who Leviathan is. So, I mean, if you want to try, and this was I was so critical of Dark Fool, is if you really want to go to that level, you're just resurrecting dead gods from the past that don't need to be resurrected. We need to be post names, bro. I'm just saying, that's what we need to, well, I'm going to speak for myself. I'm not going to speak for you, but that's where my path moves forward, because I'm a progressive. I'm postmodern in my Satanism. I don't believe that we need to be like reaching back into the past. This is why I'm so critical of people like Michael Ford, etc. I like the educational, content that you put out there, but at the same time, it's like you kind of fall into that same category. It's like you're reaching back. Look, as long as you reach back and understand that you're just picking up fucking like issue number 12, then fine, dude. I get it. It's cool. Like, oh, issue number 12. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Back then, this, that, and the third. But no, that's not where we're at now. We're at an entirely different place. Have you ever read Neil Gaiman's, and I mean read it, not seen the fucking show, American Gods? There are a bunch of new gods, and they will die too. All gods die. They die quicker than we do. Oh, shit.
Some of you might be saying, you're using the word we a lot. Isn't that collectivistic? No, it's not because
really.
This journey is a solitary one. And no governing orthodoxy is trying to dictate how this will be performed. Some of us out there may have suggestions, but this is about your personal journey into the abysmal profundity, and no one can...
You're right slightly, and you're wrong slightly. So yes, when you confront, I understand exactly what you're saying, and it's like, yes, you're entirely correct on this. Is that when you need to go down that it's a self-discovery type situation where it's like you're really trying to figure out like how do you fit in this world, etc. So the first thing you have to do is you have to go internal and you have to break everything down. You have to scatter everything, and then everything comes back. You know what the fuck's up. I know you do. That's why you could be half close to being a clown, but you're not. That's why I really respect you. Like I said, there's only plus Dan Dread, there's only 3 people that I respect on the path, and you're one of them. So it is what it is, and I'll give you shit, but that's because I respect you. If that makes any fucking sense, and I hope you appreciate it. If you don't, then hey, fuck it. You're gonna be like this motherfucker in the comments. Which one is this motherfucker? What's his name? When hubris is everything. So what I said to this motherfucker, I said, you don't want this smoke. You seem exactly like the type of dude with she, they pronouns. Tug on the cape one more time. Now watch. If this motherfucker tugs on my cape one more time, I'm going to put him through the floor, dude. Because that's what I do. I put people through the floor. What I'm doing right now, this is a little bit of respect. I hope you understand.
Go there with you.
I'm giving you a lot of time.
No one's going to be there to hold your hand.
Video anyway, so whatever.
Understand that you can do it in any fashion that you see fit. That works for you. Satanic, Luciferian, sinistrous, whatever works, as long as you dare to venture into the abyss. To bring forth the ultimate primal expression.
Totally agree.
And I've said it many times, the truth is in the primal. And nothing is more elemental than the waters of the primordial chaos churned up by Leviathan.
God damn, I totally disagree with that, though. Look, I want you to think about a concept, and I'm going to end this here because I'm going really long. But, I don't even fucking know where I am. This is probably going to be like a 45-minute video. There's a concept, well, I mean, we could call it, okay, so like you talked about that, right? But if you really wanted to get into something, I want you to think about this. When Jesus, and I know it's not a real character, I mean, he was a real guy, but the character in the Gospels is not a real guy. That's not the real guy. It's based on a loosely fucking, you know what I'm talking about. And he had a phrase that he used, and it was called the outer darkness. Why don't you talk about that? What do you think that is? The outer darkness. That was a curse that he threw. I think he threw it 3 times, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, because, I'm wrong from time to time. I'm not a perfect motherfucker, but, the outer darkness. Outer, as opposed to what? Because the Hebrew understanding, and you're right about this, is that there were the concept of the 3 waters within the Hebrew system. The outer darkness was something completely different. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. I'd like to hear your thoughts on a lot of shit. I think you're cool as shit. I'm not trying to bust your balls, but I think I just busted your balls a little bit. That's just me. That's what I do. You know what I do. You know how I am. And then you probably think I'm a total douchebag, but guess what? Awesome. I'm a douchebag. And this motherfucker right here can go suck all the dicks. Which one is it again? Admech? Or whatever the fuck his name is. Man, nigga, please. These motherfuckers, hold on. Secret chick, you sometimes speaking too aggressive. Oh, Lord Jesus Christ. Hey, Tom, 46-minute video for you, bro. I'm going to go right up to the 47-minute point. They ain't going to let me upload this bullshit. But no, this is an earnest response. Now, if I give you that much time, that means I respect you on the path. How about them apples?